down, and man, he has had such success here at Astronauts. It's hard to bet against him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that, but I'm going to go with the car regardless because, one, I like underdogs, and two, I think the car is hungry to start 2019 off with a victory against, well, what you might call a nemesis at this point, and to tie the record up. So here we go. It's the first semifinal of the night to decide who moves on to the money round. First Killer is going to try to start that one up with a scoop, but the car, setting that one off into the corner, has clear path to the goal and will draw first blood.
Yeah, so this is kind of why I do like the car. He does play a little bit more safe, at least in this matchup against First Killer, and you kind of see it right off the bat there. First Killer going for the ceiling shot, trying to catch the car off guard there, but it doesn't work out, and of course the car, an easy way to clean up that play, and on the board first.
Yeah, First Killer biting off a little more than he could chew to kick the game off. The car trying to go for the kickoff goal here. Drives that up the backboard, and First Killer gets a touch on it. The car still able to thread the needle for the 2.
Yeah, and this one's right off the kickoff. The car does get the ball here, and I think First Killer was a little bit greedy going for that boost. He could have come back towards the net. The car made a fantastic play. Don't want to discount that. Being quick to the ball, coming off the back wall and putting it away. First Killer gave him way too much space, and the car took advantage.
Yep, and the car winning yet another kickoff. Centers the ball, gets in front of the net, can't quite wrap around it in time, and now First Killer looking to drive that one down Main Street. The car burning all of his boost, but he cannot beat the ball to the net, and First Killer gets on the board.
So you can see there in the replay, the car kind of flies across the screen there and skids off First Killer, and he went a little bit too far. He couldn't get back in time. Great composure from First Killer to keep possession, kind of realize where the car went, had all that open space, and again, you know, for the first 3 goals here, the little sloppy on both ends, not the best defense from either of them, but again, the car already in a good position here in the first 40 seconds.
Certainly, and goals coming in at breakneck speeds in the first 30 seconds, looking to quiet down a little bit as First Killer looking to play it slow. The car take that ball off of him in one fell swoop, goes to pick up the boost and leaves possession over to First Killer. Confident in his defensive abilities, pops the ball up into the air, tries to wrap around it, but First Killer getting the touch and off to the midfield it goes. Pushing it forward now, the car opting to go for the goal line defense. Double tap opportunity for First Killer, but the car gets his save, and the second touch hits the backboard as well. And now the car looking to turn that one into a swift offense, trying to switch around the play to the left half of the field. On the wall now. Will he go for the shot? Will do, but First Killer has not too much trouble saving that one.
And a lot of boost for First Killer and for the car. You can see him going for the air dribble, and he slams it home. And again, First Killer, he's got 76 boosts at this moment, and he lets the car jump and follow this one up. You can see the hesitation come out for First Killer, or maybe he just didn't think the car could do it. But in the end, the car, he puts it home, and for First Killer, that's just too slow and not able to really react on the play. He saw the car go for it. It wasn't like he caught him off guard or anything like that. First Killer just decided not to go, and the car made him pay.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple of times before in First Killer's appearances, that he does like to give his opponent a lot of space, especially in that final third, confident in his abilities to intercept the ball and then go for a counter. But sometimes it just doesn't work, and First Killer...
He should hold it.
He does.
Yep.
Just burn down the clock, and First Killer will just wait on the goal line there. Now he's coming into the car. Will be able to put that one away, but that's a solid 10 seconds off the clock right there.
Yep, this is great game awareness here from the car. First Killer kind of gave up on the play, and for a lot of players, for the car, they would just put the ball away and go on to the kickoff. But this is very smart game management here from the car. He goes in front of the line, forces First Killer to at least come to the ball and run down the clock a little bit more. He's got a 3-goal lead, and he's got a lot of time to burn off if you're the car. You love to take down a guy like First Killer here on stream in the semifinal. So anything you can do to burn down the clock like that is so smart from the car.
It's a good start for him, up by 3 goals. Still haven't reached halftime yet, and we know how many goals can happen in any given 1v1 matchup. First Killer mounting an offense now. In the corner, looking to thread the needle here, go for the tight angle, and he puts it away to the far post.
And this is a tough one for the car because he saw that he had that open corner boost, but it was a good play not to go for it and stay with the ball. But in the end, it kind of cost him because he only had about 11 boosts there. He didn't really make the best play there as First Killer just kind of goes up and over his head. But kind of getting boost starved there. It was still the right play, but in the end, First Killer doing a great job with all the boosts that he had and to take advantage. He knew that the car was low.
Past halftime, it's a 2-goal lead. First Killer looking to make it a 3, but the car drops down, saves that ball in the process. Demolition now going down will buy the car a little bit of space, and he will use that to slowly build up another play. Goes for the dribble down midfield. Tries to go for the pop. Own goal from First Killer. Couldn't get that goal prevented.
It's actually a lovely cut here from the car. Just, First Killer... Again, I'm not sure if he didn't read it or he just wasn't expecting a great power coming out from the car up and over First Killer, and a little bit slow to react once again, obviously leading in the own goal, but the car kind of surprising First Killer. And this is another thing that I meant to bring up, Pash, is that the car is just winning kickoffs left and right. First Killer, he's got to switch something up. This is not a good kickoff from him. You could see the way he approached it, did not get a lot of surface, didn't touch a lot of the ball there on the kickoff, and the car just goes straight through it, and the kickoff goes in his favor. First Killer can do nothing about it, and he finds himself in the hole by 4.
Yep, 3 goals from the car going in straight from kickoff, and one of them due to the ground that he gained during it. First Killer will be able to find open space here as the car is caught on the side of the field, but the lead is still at 3 for the car.
And First Killer, he does play a little unsafe in ones, but it's that speed that allows him to do that. And right there for First Killer, bring the ball down and punching into the net. The car just not quick enough to get back. And when you give up ball possession and you give space to First Killer, he will take advantage, and you saw it there.
So lead back to 3. First Killer to pick that ball up on the side of the field, just waiting for the opportunity to pop it up, and there he does. Perfectly played the car, no chance.
The car, he was actually right in front of this. He had full boost, but he had the fake challenge, and then once First Killer saw the fake challenge come through, he knew that the car was kind of forced to go for the next one because he turned sideways. The flick comes through from First Killer to the back of the net. Great play from him. Great recognition of the decision-making from the car. First Killer reading minds out here, and he's bringing this one back now with a minute and a half down by 2.
Another kickoff going the car's way, pops the ball up high into the air, goes for the fake, wants to bump First Killer out, but it costs him because that means he's inside the opponent's net while First Killer can just score onto an empty goal, and he is back to within just 1.
And I gotta say, it's pretty scary to see your opponent jumping up in front of your net and having a chance on target, and First Killer just let the car have so much space, and the car kind of flubs the play. The patience comes out from First Killer there, and it pays off.
Minute and 20 left on the clock, and First Killer has already made up a heck of a deficit. For large parts of the game, the car kept the lead at 3. Now he's going to have to watch out because the equalizer could be looming any moment. Wins the contest, gets the ball to the left-hand corner of the blue half of the field. Trying to wrap around it and get it midfield. First Killer snatches the ball off of him, and he's going to put it away. And on the minute, we have the equalizer.
And I gotta say, if I was the car, that's a little bit of a tilter. You can see there, First Killer just kind of bumped him out of the way. And it was just the slightest bump, but really the car went flying, trying to recover. And First Killer goes, oh, the field's open. I can just dribble it to the back of the net as car goes flying past his screen. And all of a sudden, we got ourselves a tie game.
I certainly do. The car has been in the lead for most of the game, actually. But this is First Killer's chance. All he needs is, well, at least a 1-goal lead when that clock hits 0 and the ball hits the ground. The car looking for the dribble here. First Killer with a fantastic block. Just shy of the far post. Bumps the car out of the way just to keep him away from the ball. The car with another touch keeps the ball in the corner there. First Killer with not a lot of boost, but the boost just spawns, fills his tank right back up. 30 seconds remaining, and the car is on the ball. At this point, every goal could be the winner. The car goes for the shot. First Killer saves it just shy of the crossbar. Left-hand corner of the field right now. The car trying to block up at First Killer, trying to send that one down Main Street. The car able to intercept, pot that one off to the sidewall. Immediate counterattack, but First Killer is already up for it. Comes off of the crossbar. Will the car be able to capitalize on this? Makes it come off of the backboard yet again, but an important touch right there from First Killer. Pops the ball back up into the air, and we are into overtime in game number 1.
And a lot of possession actually going to the car, and this could be trouble. This could be the end of the game here. The kickoff goal. It's really the first one that we've seen First Killer win, and what a time to do it. 5 seconds into overtime, and he wins game number 1 after being down by how many goals? Makes the comeback, gets the kickoff goal in overtime. First Killer, our 4-time 1v1 champion in 2018, wins game number 1 of 2019.
Yeah, proving again why he is where he is. It's a little bit of poetic justice, I suppose, for First Killer, that after the car has been pretty much dominating the kickoffs all game long, it is a kickoff goal that wins him the overtime and the game. But yes, you've mentioned it. First Killer down by 4 at one point in the game, clawing his way all the way back. What went wrong for the car there? What do you think? Did he just get a little too confident?
I think that no, I don't think that he got too confident. I think first of all, the car did get a couple gimme goals where First Killer was just going a little bit too wild, a little bit too crazy, and the car was able to take advantage. Fair enough. That's what you should be doing in 1v1. But I also think that the car had a couple opportunities in front of the net where First Killer kind of let him go, and he scored. I think the very first one where he air dribbled over the First Killer, I believe, was the second goal, second or third goal for the car. But then when the space came once again, and First Killer kind of gave it up to the car had trouble kind of capitalizing in front of the net later on into that game. And of course, First Killer, he's never going to give up in these 1v1s, slowly claws his way back into it.
The car cannot wrap around the ball in time. First Killer sends that straight downfield, gets the bounce, but the ramp bounces a little further back than he expected, and the car will get an important demolition there. First Killer in prime scoring position. That'll give him a lot of room to breathe. Let's try to send it downfield here. Bumps First Killer out of the way. This ball is going to come off of the backboard. Gonna try to get a second touch on it. Backboard yet again. First Killer, not a good touch, and the car just able to cut the ball into the net for the lead.
That's a great play there from the car, just kind of reading the mistake there, and just really a poor touch from First Killer. And the car just kind of sitting back and waiting. One thing that you notice from the car when he moves down the field is he kind of dribbles the ball straight at the net or straight out of his opponent. He's not too, he's not too many cuts. He's not power sliding or anything. He's kind of bringing the ball towards his opponent and forcing the issue. Unfortunately, the issue now is kickoff goals as First Killer able to put this one away.
Yeah, the tides have turned. It is actually an orange trail that sends the ball in just to add insult to injury, but that was just a straight-off kickoff win from First Killer to tie the game right back up. And there we are. Not quite as many goals as in game number 1, but First Killer is going to watch out not to let the car build up a sizable lead this time at all. Very nice kill, but First Killer gets that all-important tiny touch to send the ball just slightly over the line.
Fantastic touch here from First Killer. He still has his flip when he went into the air there, and he just gets the nicest touch into the back of the net there. The car couldn't react in time. Great knowing there from First Killer that he still had a flip to keep that play alive, because the car made a great stop in front of his net. First Killer, though, that flip puts it away, and that's a tough one if you're the car.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from First Killer, though, to take the lead. The car pushed back into his own half. First Killer going for the contest there. The car playing it slowly, and First Killer actually letting him clear that away. Pops the ball over him now at the angle, but can't quite thread it. And the car getting away with murder right here. As he does go for a clear out of his own half. First Killer still in the midfield, has just picked up a fresh boost canister. But an important clear from the car sends First Killer all the way over, and he has to burn all of his boost to recover from that, to not allow the car to score onto an empty net.
One thing, if you are the car, what you don't want to happen in this game is First Killer to really start playing this fast one style where he's kind of zooming around the field and everything's working for him, whether it's double taps, whether it's just ball possession for most of the game, and just being quick in front of his net for the car. He doesn't want First Killer to get going, and what you're kind of seeing right now is First Killer just zooming around the field, keeping ball possession. Look how long he's had the ball here. Sure, the car has had a couple touches, but First Killer is just lobbing it towards the net, waiting for the play to come back to him, and then playing it off the car, and that's tough for defense. You're eventually going to get boost starved, and you can't do much about it.
Crazy defense, but the car able to find the gap. Beautiful shot, First Killer getting to it, but not in time to actually scoop it out of the net.
Yeah, and this is great for the car. This is exactly how you want to be playing. You know, I was talking about all the zooming that was happening from First Killer, but the car able to go right down the field and have a good shot on target and punish First Killer to being out of a position there just a little bit. That's what you want in the car, and that's a great play from him.
Yeah, First Killer showing a very dominant period of play, but the car doing very well and not letting himself get bogged down by that, and taking the initiative as soon as it arises. Halftime now, and we're tied at 2. First Killer going for the dribble there. Late one. Threw the car off. can't get there in time, and First Killer takes the lead.
Yeah, and I think First Killer was actually trying to bump the car out of the way. He was trying to dunk him and get in front of him so that if the car went for that ball, which he did, but just not in time, First Killer was going to get into his way and not get to the ball. Great play there from First Killer, kind of cutting off all options for the car, and that's probably why the car ended up not even touching. He saw that First Killer was going to go for the bump and was just trying to do it late, but this is bad news here for the car now. First Killer really starting to put on a lot of pressure. He gets a corner boost right off the kickoff, wins a 50 in the corner, and the car just has to watch him put it away for the 4th goal.
Well, First Killer once more starting to shine in the mid-game. This is where he scored most of his goals in game number 1 as well. Only that this time there is no deficit to catch up to. Is he building a lead of his own against the car? First Killer will have another clean shot on target. Can't quite make it happen. This is the initiative for the car. Drives it straight down the field. First Killer, no chance to beat him to it. And at least he takes the lead back down to 1.
Yeah, he's got 2 minutes left here. It's not doomsday for the car, and a big mistake coming out of First Killer just by not putting that one away. The car able to march down the field there. Wide open net just to corral that one in, and this is great for the car to at least be now only down by 1 goal and not let that lead extend, because First Killer, in all honesty, should have scored that shot, and it could be a different game right now.
Certainly should. Not the first, well, handover goal that we've seen from First Killer. Or rather, the car, or given to the car by First Killer in this series. First Killer trying to go from the corner, hits the crossbar right there. It's a little lower, and that would have been unsavable. The car driving past the ball there. First Killer showing some remarkable patience, but ultimately a little too long as the car wrestles control of the ball right back. Sends it back to the blue half. Demolition coming out, and First Killer will be using this time to mount up a play. Goes straight for the dribble, looking for the flick right there. A little too early. And the car will get the defense trying to contest it on the second touch, but ultimately he does lose possession. The car completely out of boost, but will be able to pick up a fresh canister in the corner, bumping First Killer out of the way. Will he get the wraparound? Yes, he will. All into now is a quality shot. Tries to fake out First Killer. Fantastically played. First Killer looking like a fool there.
Beautiful play from the car. You knew that First Killer was a little bit low on boost, and pops it up and then scoops it up and over First Killer, and that's a tough one to read if you're a defender. Fantastic play from the car to tie this one up. A minute left.
Absolutely beautiful. Makes it look easy, but it's anything but, especially against a player of the caliber of First Killer. 1 minute remaining, and we are tied in a highly competitive series. First Killer coming out on top in previous encounters between the two. The car looking to tie up the record here. Fantastic play. Actually manages to stop the ball pass even after the car gets the block.
This is a great play here from First Killer, and he kind of goes up, spins around, and then he dunks the car. Actually, I don't think he got the best touch there. I don't even know if he actually did touch it. It was still going in either way. And for the car, that's just really hard to read. You really don't know where the attacker is going to go because he starts with a spin. That's a tough one to read. And now coming off the back wall, does he get off the backboard? He does. First Killer, 2 goals in spectacular fashion over the car. Now a 2-goal lead for him.
Yep, scoring 2 bangers. One beauty of a goal followed up by a ceiling shot, and the car can only watch as the ball flies past him into the net. Now a 2-goal lead for First Killer, and there's only 40 seconds on the clock. Anything can happen, especially in ones. But First Killer has got to feel confident after those goals. Popping it up into the air, the car, good recovery, had his flip, used it to scoop the ball towards the midfield. 30 seconds remaining, and First Killer bumps the car out of the way, just looking to run down the clock now. The car has to push the initiative here, but there's the demolition, and First Killer just playing this beautifully, looking to waste as much time as possible, is not going to have a push forward, lets the car come at him, and just like that, there's only 10 seconds on the clock, and First Killer not interested in pushing that ball down the field in the slightest. All he wants to do is keep it in place to drive this victory home for the 2-0 lead in the series and match point.
And we talked about it in the last game when the car brought the ball down the field and stopped it on First Killer's goal line because First Killer had stopped playing in the corner. The car had a 3-goal lead. That was great game management by the car to keep the ball on the line and kind of run out the clock. Well, First Killer kind of returns the favor in this game as he runs down the clock there in the last minute or so, bring the ball down. First of all, getting the demo on the car, and then bring the ball back to his own corner when he had a full canister, lots of boost, lots of options for First Killer there, and kind of forces the car to march down the field and make something happen. It doesn't happen, And obviously, First Killer now up 2-0 in the series.
And just like that, we're at match point. The car already only one game away from potentially dropping out of the tournament. He'll be looking to claw his way back. Let's see if he switches up his play somewhat. What would the car have to do in order to beat this, well, savant at Rocket League, as he yet again shows perfect ball control off the side of the field to put it away for the lead?
It's really hard when someone does something like this so quick, and he had a great flick off the side wall there, and that's just a tough one to read if you're the car. And for for the car here, you got to stay in this guy's face. You cannot let First Killer move around the field like he has in that later half of the last game, and what we've seen so far in this game. You've got to shut him down. First Killer spending a lot of time now on his opponent's half, and for the car, has not had too many opportunities since.
Certainly hasn't. It looks like he can make something out of this. Has possession starting from his own half of the field. First Killer shadowing the ball as the car looking to bounce it on his roof for a dribble. First Killer saw that one coming, backflips into it, blows up the car, and the ball is on its way to the orange half, comes down right in front of the net, and that's an easy one to put away for First Killer. 2-0 lead.
Yeah, once you get the demo here, it's an open net basically for First Killer. He's just got to read the bounce down. Perfectly read by him, of course. In the first 40 seconds, First Killer going up by 2 is going to spell some pretty bad news here for the car. He's got to stop the bleeding. You know, you go back to game number 1 when the car was winning most of the kickoffs. You'd love to see him go back to that. But I think that really First Killer now, who's starting to heat things up off the kickoff. He pushes the car out of the way here. You can see him pick up this 100 boost and immediately flick it up, land in front of the car, and kind of just bump him out of the way, make a tough saves. Can't do it, and the car now down by 3. First Killer looking very strong in this game.
And we are not even a minute in. First Killer turning things up to 11 here. The car getting a bump, which will win him possession, but what will he do with the ball? Tries to opt for the wall here. Gets the flip reset off of the ball. Uses it, but crossbar hit. So close. Now he's low on boost. First Killer going for the flick, but the car will be able to cut that one off just shy of that goalpost. Very low on boost. First Killer still has it. Will he get a second touch? Yes, he will. Gets away with an empty tank and gets on the board.
So he actually punts First Killer down the field, and great recovery by First Killer there, but it's a great shot from the car. You know, I thought maybe if he had shot that, First Killer could get back in time, but he just squeezes it in the corner there. First Killer just inches away from it. Great shot by the car, and he's able to kind of get back into this game. You know, he's got 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. It's not the end of the world here, and it's a great way to slow down First Killer in this game, is put one away.
Certainly is. First step has been made. Gets the demolition. There's the second step as the lead is just down to 1. 30 seconds is all that took it.
And so First Killer actually hit this one towards his net, jumps in front of the car, and the car says, "Thank you very much. I'll demolish you," and put that one away. And this is looking beautiful now for the car. Really a lot of momentum going towards his favor.
Now it's only 1 goal away from tying things up, but it's still a very volatile game. We've seen First Killer pull goals out of his hat in quick succession at just the times that he needs to. Good push forward from the car. First Killer will stop that, pop that up into the air. Waiting at the sidelines for the car. Cleared off into the corner. Car sitting on full boost here. So is First Killer. Has plenty of boost in his tank, but will pick up a fresh canister in the corner to mount his counterattack. Lets it come down, crosses it to the other corner. Orange half of the field has won a lot of ground on that play, misses the ball, but so does the car. Does get the second touch, and First Killer is just caught as he's bumped out of the way by the car, gets the demolition as revenge, but the ball is already in the net.
And I said it in the beginning of this game, I believe, when I said you've got to get in First Killer's face, and that's exactly what the car has done. And maybe so much... not so much as being so aggressive on offense, but the car has done a great job of kind of bowling First Killer around, bumping him, getting a couple demos in here and there. And while you watch a player like First Killer go around the field like he has, if you're the car and you're able to kind of make contact with him and slow him down and even open up so much of the midfield there, and a lot of open nets now going in favor of the car because of these demos and bumps, that's exactly what you want, and that's how you're going to win this series.
Dribble into flick, safe by First Killer. We'll see a second try come out. Doesn't quite find the angle, and First Killer will put extra distance on that ball. The car just to get in between that. We'll be able to wrap around it. Low on boost, though, and First Killer will snatch that side field boost away from him. forcing the car to go for the corner and give up some ground to First Killer. First Killer still in possession. Plays that ball back into his own half. Goes for a shot on target as he realizes that the car is nowhere near his half and takes the lead right back.
Yeah, and the car kind of went up for this aerial. First Killer actually got to it first, and the car goes flying back to First Killer's corner. Well, of course, First Killer knows that and immediately responds back with a shot on target. And all you got to do is put it on frame, and there's just nobody home for the car. Great recognition from First Killer.
Game continues to be neck and neck. The car off of the sidewall, First Killer intercepting that shot. Winning a lot of ground. The car is very low on boost here. Will not be able to stop this flick, followed by a second touch from First Killer, and that's a 2-goal lead on the board.
And Pash, you said it, the car very low on boost here coming back. He actually had 0 going into that challenge. He was just trying to make something happen, a last-ditch effort to slow First Killer down and maybe prevent a shot. It doesn't come through, and First Killer now looking confident in this late stage of game number 3.
We've seen both players score back-to-back goals in quick succession, and the car will certainly need that. Certainly doesn't want to get this lead any larger than it already is. First Killer on his own backboard. Overshoots a little bit, but corrects himself immediately. Transitions seamlessly into a dribble all the way downfield, and the car opting to give him a lot of space. The First Killer with a cut left to right, but the car cutting off the corner, the only angle from which First Killer could have scored there. Back down the midfield we go as First Killer hops that one off into this corner. Plays slowing down somewhat, and First Killer going back to giving the car a lot of space. It has worked out earlier. Able to fake him out a little bit, and that is a shot that the car definitely should have made, but it hits the goalpost, and now First Killer is going to try to rush this one downfield. Luckily for the car, he gets back in time, gets the block, but now First Killer, with his eyes on the clock, back passing the ball, and starting to capitalize. Gets the demolition, will be able to score this one if nothing seriously crazy happens, and it does with the car.
Oh my goodness!
He fakes it! He makes the car jump into absolutely nothing!
What a fake from First Killer. He whips around and he pulls off at the last second. Completely fools the car there, and my goodness, what a way to score. First Killer, beautiful from him.
And that's the First Killer we love to see right there. 3-goal lead now, sitting comfortably with 35 seconds on the clock. Gets yet another demolition, but again, we've seen him do it times and times before. Doesn't even want to score. Demolition is gotten by the car, and he'll be able to score here, but will 25 seconds be enough to get 2 more on the board, especially when First Killer is going to try to run down the clock?
Well, I have to say, it absolutely is enough time, and that's a great demo by the car there. Slowing down First Killer, you know, he was trying to run down the clock there. And the car comes smashing through and actually demolishes, and now he wins the kickoff. This is the time to do it. And all this, no, he's missed it!
He hits the crossbar! Open net for the car, tries to reverse into it, gets the flip, but tries to go for the scoop. Hits the crossbar yet again. First Killer with the clear. That was the car's opportunity, and he didn't seize it. Now there's 3 seconds on the clock, and that's not going to be enough. First Killer is going to win the series 3-0, but it's got to be a heartbreaker for the car.
Wow, what a way to end. And you said it, an absolute heartbreaker, not only in game number 1, where he won every single kickoff, and then the one he had to win on the overtime, First Killer wins and takes game number 1, but now here to end it, an open net off the kickoff for the car, and he can't put it away. He puts it high, and man, you got to look back on the series for the car, and there's a lot to be had. There's a lot to be had there. A lot of goals that should have gone in, and I have to say, that is an absolute heartbreaker, like you said, Depeche.
Well, it's just jot that down under one of those 3-0s that shouldn't have been 3-0s, I suppose. All of the games in the series have been remarkably close up until the very end, where First Killer just pulled a few goals out of his hat in the final stages of the game and pulled ahead of the car. It came down to overtime in game number 1, but ultimately the car succumbing yet again to his rival. 3-1 is the record, the overall record between those two players now in favor of First Killer. But man, you gotta feel bad for the guy.
And no surprise here.
That finish.
Seeing First Killer in a semifinal again, and now into the grand final where he's going to be playing the winner. And of course, our upcoming match, Dapper and Taroko, another spicy matchup here in the Astronauts tournament, man. This is going to be such a fun time.
Oh yeah, certainly is. Dapper versus Taroko. One of them will be meeting First Killer in the final. Who will it be? Post your opinions in the chat. We'll head into a quick break. And when we're back, it's the second semi-final of the day in the Astronauts 1v1 Rocket League tournament. Dapper versus Taroko. Don't go anywhere. And here we are. This is the Astronauts Rocket League 1v1 tournament powered by Team Beyond and Astro Gaming. We are back. My name's The Patch. Joining me tonight is Corelli. We have just witnessed just a
heartbreaker
stab in my heart as First Killer triumphs over the car in a 3-0 series that I don't think should have been a 3-0 series, but ultimately it was, and First Killer shows yet again why he is the 2018 champion as far as Astronauts tournaments are concerned, and he's in the final and waiting for his opponent. It's going to be either one of Dapper or Taroko, and this is another stacked match that we have for you tonight.
Absolutely, and we've seen Taroko quite a bit here in the Astronauts tournaments. He's played in all sorts of the 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s. He's been around, and we have seen Dapper sign up for the 1v1s from time to time, and he's performed extremely well, obviously finding himself on stream in previous ones and here again in a semifinal, but man, he has got an opponent in Taroko. You know, fun fact about Taroko is that recently he joined the 6-man server. He's been a guy who's never really done it, and he started all the way back down in rank B. That's like where people were I play, you know, and he went 12-0 in rank B or something like that, and then he went to rank A, smashed it in rank A, and I believe he got moved to rank X. So Taroko has shown and proven that he is a top tier player here in really any regard. And this is going to be a humongous matchup. Obviously, I talk up Taroko, but I don't think there's any introduction that would do justice to someone like Dapper, as a guy who has been just a 1v1 god, you know, in the beginning of the game, and obviously he's still got it now. And this is an exciting matchup between these two players.
Oh yeah, he's a Rocket League legend in general.
Absolutely.
Has been around for so long, since the youngest days of the scene. He has been sticking around. He's always been playing right up there at the top with the best of the best. And you mentioned it before, both of them have had their successes in Astronauts 1v1 tournaments. Taroko actually taken away the victory with a win over First Killer of all people in a previous 1v1 tournament. So that would be interesting if we saw a rematch of that later on in the final. But first, he's going to have to get past Dapper. Now, both of these players, a lot of 1v1 experience, their own very unique play style. They have been around the block. What do you expect from those two?
So I expect, the last time I saw Dapper play a 1v1, it was absolutely one of the most controlling games I've seen from a player. Is Dapper does a really good job of controlling the game, the pace of play, and most importantly, possession. However, it's very hard to do that against a player like Taroko, who can kind of make anything happen. You know, he reminds me of a First Killer quite a bit in his play style, is that, you know, you give him a little bit of space, you give him an inch, he takes a mile, he takes the whole field. And for Taroko, it is his speed that I think is his biggest asset here. And that's kind of funny when you talk about a player like Dapper. But, you know, I think that for Taroko, he has to stay controlled. He needs to stay in control of not only himself, but with the ball, and keep it away from Dapper, because the biggest thing is you don't want a player like Dapper to control the game and go on his terms. Make him feel uncomfortable. Make him kind of have his back turn and go into a bad challenge. And that's exactly what Taroko does. The question is, can he do it against a legend like Dapper?
Yeah. Well, we are about to find out. If I put a gun to your head, who would you say will meet First Killer in the final?
Oh gosh. Oh man.
You know it was coming.
It's a best of 5 here between these two guys, and wow, it's tough. I think, okay, so regardless, I think this one's going to go to game 5, and
Agreed.
I think that it's probably going to be, I'm going to go with Taroko.
Okay. Well, that's what I would have said, because, well, Dapper is an amazing player, and obviously this is no means to suggest that he will be a pushover against Taroko. But Taroko, first of all, I think he wants the rematch against First Killer. He really wants to prove himself again. And second of all, he has been just a regular in these Astronauts 1v1 tournaments. They've played each other before, I think once. I can't quite remember the results, but Taroko is just so experienced. And that's my story. Here we go, game number 1. First 20 seconds in, already seen a save come out of both players as Taroko stops the ball dead in front of his net. And Dapper leaving him a little bit of room as Taroko pushes it down the field, pops up into the air dribble, guts it straight onto the net. Dapper saving that against the goalpost. It's on its way downfield towards the net. Taroko, will he be able to beat him to the ball? No, he will not. Both players were completely out of boost there.
That one hurts if you're Taroko, going off the post there, and then Dapper has a free shot on target. And like you said earlier, you know, there was a close chances there for Dapper that Taroko actually made some great saves, but Taroko on his first attempt, he hits the post and sets up Dapper for the goal there. So, you know, not the end of the world for him there, but Dapper already showing what he's got off the kickoffs here after that first goal.
I guess another flick off. This time Taroko beats him at the midfield though, and Dapper, he doesn't even move anymore after losing that 50, and Taroko doesn't even touch the ball again. That's a clear-cut goal if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, it's just a quick flick there from Taroko. Dap just a little bit too late on the challenge, and he ain't moving after that one. He knew he was beaten. Taroko lets that one roll in. Good from Taroko to respond back quickly here as Dapper got the first goal off the cheeky counterattack off the missed shot in the post.
1 goal apiece after 1 minute of play. Taroko in ball control, cuts it. Dapper quickly recovering, shadowing the ball. Taroko is going to go for the flick there. It was only a matter of time, but slightly missed that. Wasn't even on target. And Dapper didn't even have to intervene, which allows him to send the ball downfield all the way to Taroko's box.
Oh.
Dribble play from Taroko. Gets
oh,
past
it's beautiful.
Him.
Oh, what a save.
Save off of the crossbar, sends the ball straight down Main Street.
He's a god.
The goalpost, I think. I'm not sure that would have gone in if Taroko hadn't touched it. I think it hit the goalpost, but ultimately, just a quick counterplay from Dapper.
Oh.
That's tough to call.
Well, first of all, great dribble by Taroko earlier on, and I thought he had Dapper beat, but my goodness, the save coming out from Dapper, and then immediately counterattacks, and then right here, the kickoff goal from Dapper. You can see it a couple times, Dapper actually winning the kickoffs, this time resulting in a goal, and Taroko, that one's just going to pinch up off the ceiling, and of course, Dapper, he flipped through it. He's going to keep going and land right in front of that ball and put it away, and that's a tough one there for Taroko, giving up a goal and then giving up a kickoff goal back-to-back.
Yep, 2-goal lead now for Dapper. As we near the 2nd minute of full game time, Dapper with a fantastic cut. Completely seamless. Bumps Taroko out of the way for good measure.
There's a fantastic flick there from Dapper. Taroko didn't really know what he was going to do because he was probably sensing that a fake was coming through from Dapper. He was kind of on the right side of the ball there, and he could have faked it if he wanted to, but then decided to go for the quick cut. Taroko's a little bit backwards or sideways, excuse me, and Dapper, again, this is the control that you talk about, dribbling right at his opponents, making them feel uncomfortable. It's exactly what happened to Taroko. But I have to say, Taroko, you can see it doing here, this slow dribble, and he actually beats Dapper there, as again, the same exact thing happens to Dapper now in reverse. Dapper doesn't really know what's going to happen. Can't tell if the fake's going to come through or if he's going to let it keep rolling, and then the cut comes through up and over his head. Taroko, beautifully done there.
Beautifully done indeed. Lessens the lead after Dapper caught fire there for a moment. 3 goals in quick succession. But Taroko is making his way back up the scoreboard. Has the ball right now, trying to go for dribble. When will he make the cut? Not at all. Lets Dapper take over. Tries to shadow the ball, go for the block. But Dapper in ball control, that's always a dangerous thing. Taroko does manage to get it back, but Dapper pushing it past the midfield line. Taroko with a back pass to his own corner to pick up the boost, reset the play somewhat. Gets it past Dapper here, but Dapper just wrapping around it and back in a shadowing position. There's the flick from Taroko and the ball control. Absolutely sublime.
And you can see Dapper kind of back off, give him a little bit of space, and Taroko says, thank you very much. That sets up enough space for me to launch this to the back of the net. It's a fantastic flick from Taroko, making Dapper pay for that little bit of space that he gave him. Great flick from him, and he's trying to fight his way back halfway through this game.
Amazingly played at halftime. Taroko 1 goal away from tying things up, and there it is. Just after the halfway mark, kickoff goal for Taroko.
Unfortunately for Dapper, he probably could have half-flipped and flipped the other direction. Instead, he flips out towards his far post where the ball wasn't going. He could have flipped towards the near post, and he just might have been able to make that save. But look at the kickoffs coming out from Taroko. It's going to happen again. It's another one, and Taroko, he takes the lead.
Two quick kickoffs in succession going to Roko's way. There was no chance that Dapper was going to get to this one in time. No boost left. And it just crosses the line for the lead. Just a 1-goal lead for Taroko, but he has managed to claw his way back from a 3-goal deficit. And against Dapper, that's saying something. Good catch off of the backboard. Dapper playing it slowly, has picked up the boots canister, lots to play with here. Goes for the flick, Taroko saw that one coming. Good save from him to play that off into the corner. And now he's going to launch this downfield. Dapper cannot beat him to the ball. It's going to be yet another goal on the board for Taroko.
Yeah, Taroko just carries this one downfield. Really nothing else to it here. Dapper a little bit slow to recover. He kind of committed a little bit too hard on that one, and Taroko really starting to pull away. And maybe not so much that, as he's just scored so many goals here. Dapper has not really yet to respond. Taroko taking a lot of control here.
Certainly is. What will Dapper do here? Carries it all the way to the front, and it's just a basic flick to throw Taroko off. It is, yet again, the situation of what is he going to do, and then going for the wrong option.
And it's so funny. Both these players are so quick, so fast. And, you know, when you play against them in ranked or in private matches, whatever it may be, and it's funny to see the difference in a goal there is the slow dribble from Dapper and Taroko kind of sitting on his line, waiting to see what happens. It's really kind of getting inside each other's head and trying to figure out what is your defender going to try and do and how can you fake them out. And both of these guys have done it to each other here, as of course 11 goals have been scored.
We still have 1:30 on the clock, so there could be more joining that board. Dapper up in the final third. Taroko, good scoop off of the ramp to get that into midfield. Makes Dapper drive past it, forces him to shadow the ball. Gonna play it slowly here, try to go for the cut. Finds that the angle is just a little bit too tight for that play and breaks it off. And now Dapper going for the immediate counter. Good clear from Taroko just before he gets blown up. Will buy himself enough time to respawn in that situation. Now Dapper's going to wait for it to bounce. A little bit too long. Taroko coming in from behind, pushing that one past the midfield line. Bumps Dapper out of the way. Taroko just looking to keep ball control here. Has to watch out not to allow the equalizer, though, as Dapper does get the pinch onto the ramp, but Taroko immediately interfering in that play and sending it far downfield. Might have an opportunity to score on the angle here. Doesn't actually go for the shot. And instead shadows Dapper. This is dangerous. 30 seconds remaining. There's the flick very early. Taroko able to catch that one, but it comes off of the crossbar. Dapper with another touch, another backboard attempt, but Taroko catching that one as well. Very good defense from Taroko here in the past 40 seconds, making sure that Dapper won't get the equalizer that he's looking for, and this will seal the deal. Another goal, quick turnaround from Taroko to bring the lead up to 2. 13 left on the clock.
I talked about the control that Dapper has, and it's really good from Taroko to break out with the little boost he had. You can see Dapper kind of throwing it off the backboard and seeing what Taroko would do. But Taroko actually was able to break out and obviously created a chance to score here, and he's going to take game number 1 here if Dapper can't put that one away. He actually does, and now Dapper does have a chance here in this game if he can win another kickoff.
Yep, one kickoff goal, and that's all that it'll take to take this game to overtime. Would take it to 14 goals, and this is just the first game of the series. So this series is delivering just the way we expected. Here's the kickoff. What will they do? Dapper gets it off of the sidewall, comes straight back down the midfield line, goes for boost just to give himself the tiniest little edge on this play, pops it high up into the air. Not sure if that's what he wanted to do in that situation. Taroko doesn't even have to go for it. Dapper doesn't touch the ball on its way down, and that's going to be the win for Taroko. 6-7, high-scoring game, but ultimately it was 1 goal to win it.
Yeah, definitely a high-scoring game there. You can see 21 shots there between the two players, and at that end there, Dapper, he picked up the canister there, got 100 boosts, was trying to bring the ball down and get control, but you could see Taroko coming at him, and it was actually a fake challenge from Taroko, and Dapper kind of panicked. He flipped at it, didn't get the best flick, and ultimately gave up the game because of it. But I have to say, you go back to the middle of this game, and the difference there was Taroko, I think it was 3 or 4 unanswered goals from Dapper. Taroko really started to turn up the heat, not only in his gameplay, but especially his kickoffs. You talked about adapting to your opponent. That's exactly what Taroko did in this game. He knew what Dapper's game plan was coming into the kickoff a few times in the middle of game number 1. It paid off tremendously with all those kickoff goals.
And here we are in game number 2. It is a slim lead. That won Taroko the first game. We both said this might go to game number 5. And I'm pretty sure that Dapper will not let Taroko just walk all over him. So game 2 kicks off. Taroko will score it. Fantastic arc on that shot.
Yeah, you know, Dapper won't let Taroko walk all over him, but he will give him enough space for this shot here as it's up and over Dapper's head, and he just watches it go in. Again, you give Taroko a little bit of space, and he's going to rip one at your net there. Dapper, again, paying the price.
Not the first time this has happened in this series. I've seen it plenty of times in game number 1. Long shots winning out for Taroko just because Dapper lets them come through. Good save from him. Going to try to turn that into a counter immediately. It's a long shot. It's on target, but Dapper able to get his wheel on that. And Taroko, very ball control focused game here. Driving that all the way back home, wrapping around it to the other side of the field. Letting Dapper touch it at the midfield line, looking for the play in front of the net. Gets the touch as Dapper recovers. And that's the 2-0.
And you can see Dapper kind of go into this one, but it's actually Taroko who just lifts up the front end of his car, and when Dapper goes into it, he pushes it into the front end and it just goes straight up. Taroko knows this and just waits for it to come back down. Of course, Dapper flips through the challenge and he goes flying out of the play, and Taroko's just got to let the ball land on him and put it to the back of the net. Great awareness from him. Great play to get in front of that ball, and a 2-goal lead now opens up for Taroko.
Ooh. Good save from Taroko. Good read on that play from Dapper as well. There's a 2-goal lead, but Dapper already on the offense here. But look at Taroko. He is just making sure that Dapper will not get his hands on that ball. And whenever Dapper gives him an inch of space, you've mentioned it before, he'll just launch one at the net.
What a flick from Taroko. That's the second one we've seen. Just a bullet, in the placement is so beautiful from him. The far post, just into the side net there. And Dapper, again, she just can do nothing about it. A shot placed like that with that pace is so tough to block.
And it's a 3-goal lead now for Taroko. Dapper will find his first goal of the game here as Taroko lets one slip past in his final third.
It's a great mind game there from Dapper. He knew that Taroko had jumped for that one and was just waiting for the flip as he lets that ball roll into the corner, and the patience from him pays off there. Taroko left looking silly as he flies past the ball, and Dapper able to just get control and knock that one in.
And that's going to be a kickoff goal to get back to within 1. It was a 3-goal lead just 10 seconds ago, and then Dapper happened.
And this is kind of what we saw in the last game, except it was in favor of Taroko. He went down early, but all of a sudden he gets a goal, and then back-to-back gets the kickoff goal. Dapper looking to have maybe another repeat here. Another kickoff goal would be fantastic if he could get it.
Well, not this time. Taroko pushing it forward very slowly, launches one, and Dapper realizes he won't be able to get a touch on that.
Yeah, and you could see Dapper, he was already in a really tough position coming out of that kickoff. When he flipped into the ball, he kind of went flying out to the side, while Taroko stayed more central, right where the kickoff spot is. He was able to kind of adapt to that play quicker. And of course, Dapper gets a little bit caught there as he tries to get back into rotation, get in front of the ball.
So Taroko extending his lead once more. Ball comes off the ceiling. Taroko seamlessly picking up on it, playing it into the corner where Dapper bounces him out of the way, takes possession into his own hands, and transitions into a dribble. When will he make the flick? There it is. Taroko saw it coming. Good block from him. Playing out on the left-hand orange side corner. Taroko picking that one off the backboard. Gets it past the midfield line, running low on boost now, and Dapper very wisely picking up that 100 boost, leaving Taroko stranded, and he realizes this, sends one home. Taroko caught with his pants down in an empty tank.
And give credit to Dapper here. As Taroko was bringing the ball down the field, Dapper was collecting all the boosts in front of him, so that when Taroko gave up possession, Dapper had 100 boosts, able to counterattack quickly. Such a smart play, as Taroko only had about 17 there on the blue side corner. He wasn't able to get back. And Dapper, great counterattack and great management of the boosts. Not only the pads, but the canisters as well.
Another crazy save from Taroko. The flick from Dapper went for the far post. Going to try again. Pops it up. Goes for the air dribble. Taroko to save that one off into the corner. Full boost tank. Looking to send that one straight down Main Street. But the demolition will stop him dead in its tracks and put the ball back into Dapper's hands. Dribble play. Very fast. Fantastic pop up into the air. He will be able to score this one. And there it is. Tied game at halftime between Dapper and Taroko.
And I like this cut there from Dapper, early and high over Taroko, and all he's got to do is read it off the back wall and put that one away. It's an open net, and like you said, just at halftime, we are tied up. Dapper doing a great job staying in this game.
Such a fast play from him. So beautiful to watch. There we go. 4 goals apiece. Taroko wraps around it. That's an empty net. And he'll take the lead 7 seconds from halftime.
And Dapper kind of went flying past this ball, and he actually kind of stopped it too. He kind of got a piece of it, kind of set up Taroko there to put that one away. Kind of a wild challenge there from Dapper, and Taroko obviously going to take advantage.
Yep. As he should. Another kickoff. Kickoffs generally have gotten pretty equal after we've seen some disparity in game number 1, but Dapper will punish Taroko just in the way that Taroko did in the previous goal. Nobody home, Taroko inside the blue nets, and Dapper just sends it home for the equalizer.
And you got to compliment Dapper. The counterattacks coming out from him in this series and in this game have been spectacular. Taroko, he's a quick player, but he's not quick enough to be everywhere. And Dapper making sure that when he has a chance to have anything on target, he's firing it with pace. And you saw it there, able to punish Taroko. And for Dapper, it's really paying off for him.
So, very, very even match. In game number 2, it was only 1 goal that won Taroko game 1. Might just come down to that 1 goal again. Will it be on Dapper's side this time around, or will Taroko gain match points? Slight miss on that. Dapper looking for the immediate counterattack. Taroko getting in the way. Bumped out of the way by Dapper. Tries to wrap around, but Taroko with the contest sends it back over to the blue half. In the corner now. Looking to center it. Dapper inside the nets. Taroko doesn't get the best of touching on that one, and Dapper will play it patiently, wait for Taroko to come at the ball. Very good interception right there, and he'll be able to convert that straight into a goal. So well played by Taroko.
Yeah, reading the play, and then when Dapper goes in for the flick, he goes all the way for the boost there, and he tried to get back, and for Taroko, all he's got to do is flick it towards the net, but that pop from Dapper has got to be better. And great read. Give credit to Taroko to read that one, shut it down, and then not only that, but get control and turn it into a goal. Fantastic play.
Good kickoff for Dapper. Can't turn that into a goal. Bumps off of the ramp, and Taroko to send it downfield, and Dapper can just watch it as it crosses the line.
We've seen this a few times from Taroko. When he scores one, it kind of gets a couple more. And again here, just a long ball down the field. Dapper kind of overcommit on his play. Can't get back in time. All that space. Taroko now a 2-goal lead with just over a minute left.
Well, that, as we've seen time and time before, a minute in ones looks like little time, but can actually be so much more. And Dapper will get the lead straight back down to 1. Gets Taroko in front of his own net.
Yeah, and you're seeing this a lot more in ones, is instead of going for the flick up and over players, they're actually the quick drop down and then pick a corner. You can see Dapper do it there as he kind of lets it bounce on top of his car, and then as soon as he wants to make the move, he lets it drop, and he can ping it to a corner quickly with pace. That's tough for a defender to defend, and for Taroko, left standing as he watched it go by.
Now, this is the exact standing that game 1 ended in, but now we have 44 seconds left on the clock, and Dapper on the ball, eager to keep it that way too. Good contest by Taroko. Dapper not breaking a sweat for that one. Good ball control from him, looking for the cut, looking for the flick opportunity. Gets past Taroko, but the ball's not in a good spot. Bumps it off of the backboard. Can't get it past Taroko as he sends it all the way outfield, and there's the shot on target. Taroko will make it a 2-goal lead with 20 seconds to spare.
Give credit to Taroko's defense, too. He's done a great job of shutting down Dapper. You know, he's really trying to control the game in Dapper, and Taroko is just booming it away from him. And again, a 2-goal lead opens up with 20 seconds left. Dapper kind of left scratching his head about what went wrong in this game, because for him, he's had a lot of great plays, and Taroko just shutting him down left and right.
Now, speaking of shutting him down, that play was very effectively shut down and pretty much burns up all the left time on the clock, all the available time that Dapper would have had to catch up on that 2-goal deficit. So Taroko goes up by 2 in the series, is now on match point. They have been two close games, but Taroko seemingly always has the edge. What does Dapper need to do in order to get back into the series?
I think the biggest thing for Dapper right now is when he's on offense and he has all this pressure. We talk about the control that he has on offense. He's got to score. He's got to make the defender pay. And right now, it's that defense from Taroko that's actually killing Dapper. He's just done so well to prevent Dapper to have a clean look on net. A lot of them that have come down from Dapper is when he's taken it from his own end into a big, long dribble across the field, and he's been able to kind of fake out Taroko a few times. But for the most part, Taroko's done a great job on defense. So for Dapper, it's about getting a little bit more creative, make Taroko pay when he gives you the space. But, man, that defense from Taroko is looking very strong right now.
Oh yeah, certainly is. A couple of tough shots have been saved from Taroko, especially in game number 2. It's certainly not for lack of trying from Dapper. Taroko just sometimes seems impenetrable on that defense, especially when Dapper is trying to get a run going. Here's game 3. Might be the last one for Dapper. We've already seen a sweep today. Will we see a second one here? As Taroko looking to spar with First Killer in the final. All he needs to do is win one more game, but that's a beautiful bump from Dapper. Opens up the net for the lead.
I love it from Dapper here. You talk about getting a little bit more creative and opening up some space. That's how you do it right there. You bump Taroko out of the way. Able to wrap around that ball and put it on target. An open net, of course, for Dapper. That's how you start off this game.
30 seconds in. That's first blood for Dapper. Let's see what he can make out of it. Kickoff. Play straight onto Taroko. Taroko can't clear the ball away enough, though, and Dapper will get a second touch and a second goal.
And I was about to criticize Dapper for his initial touch off the kickoff. It was weak, and it was straight to Taroko, kind of giving up possession. But Taroko, I have to criticize him for not dealing with it very well and giving it back up to Dapper, who just slams it in front of his face. And if you're Dapper, you're feeling good. He might get a third one here.
Yep. Will he get the shot? No. Does get it, but Taroko cuts off the angle, and now he's on the counterattack. Dapper low on boost, won't be able to beat the ball to his net. Runaway goal for Taroko to get on the board.
Well, and initially, while Dapper did kind of win the kickoff there, Taroko, great counter coming out from his own end and just beating Dapper down the field. Dapper tried to cut off the angle, but of course Taroko had boost, full boost coming back, and he stops the bleeding a little bit. Able to get another one into his, get another one here in game number 3, but Dapper looking strong here in the first minute.
Certainly is. Going to start the play all the way from his corner. Beautiful cut around Taroko, but the net had already ended, and that only hit the back wall. Taroko now in ball control. Dapper to push it forward a little bit. Taroko from the downside. Looking to get that one off of the ceiling, but Dapper is contesting every single ball that Taroko touches, and ultimately finds himself in front of the net with the ball right in front of him.
And for Taroko, just a little bit too slow there. Dapper, great play for him. Give him credit. Able to pop that one back up. He knew Taroko was going to go for it, so all he had to do was just get it up and over him and past Taroko. And he does it in any fashion, able to drop it down in front of the net and put it away. Dapper now back to a 2-goal lead.
This kickoff kind of left by the wayside by both players as they make a mad dash for boost. Taroko missing that one, but Dapper can't convert to a goal. Drives it back to his own half now, at least until he picks up that boost counter, then turns it straight around, goes for the flick. Taroko picks himself up his first Savior medal of the game. Looking to counter that one. Very low on boost. Dapper snatches away the corner boost from him. Now he gets himself caught with an empty tank, and Dapper will just leisurely drive that one home.
You said it, Bash. A big, huge touch there from Taroko that he couldn't control. It's a poor touch straight to the middle of the field, and Dapper just has to drive straight to it and put it away. And for Taroko, you got to feel bad. That's just a poor touch with no boost, could do nothing about it afterwards, and just had to watch his opponent push it in.
So a 3-goal lead for Dapper. We've seen that before. Taroko has come back from it before. Great save from Dapper from the inside of the net. I think he drove up the goal ramp there and turned around midair. Nicely played.
He absolutely did. Called out Taroko, said this is exactly where you're going to put it. A great way to adapt to that ball. And what a flick from Dapper.
Touch. Amazing stuff from Dapper. Extends his lead even further.
And watching this one from Taroko's angle, it just looks like Dapper had actually messed up from his viewpoint But really, Dapper, of course, in full control there, knew he had a flip still and could push it past Taroko. Taroko was not expecting that. Now a 5-1 scoreline in favor of Dapper.
Yep, and that's the highest lead that we've seen from either of the players in this match so far. Taroko doesn't quite find the gap that he was looking to thread his middle through. And Dapper will turn that one right around into a counter. 6-1 now, and Dapper's running away with it.
And you talk about the counters all series long, and he's been doing it all series long, to be honest. They've been fantastic from Dapper. He gets another one here, now just past halftime. Dapper in the lead by 5 goals. But Pash, if we know anything, Taroko can make the comebacks. And while it may seem dire at 5 goals, he's got more than enough time to make things happen.
Oh yeah, certainly. Well, Dapper really just kind of making use of Taroko's tendency to push the ball forward fast, and sometimes to a fault because he loses control of it, and then all that Dapper needs to do is one good touch away from turning the play completely around. But that is such a smart and patient play from Taroko. This time he didn't play it fast at all. He made sure to stay in control all the way through.
Yeah, brings it down, and then he was just waiting for the 50, or really the challenge from Dapper, but Dapper really didn't flip into it or anything. He kind of just let this one go, and Taroko kind of kept going with it, and he pushed it through Dapper into the post and into the net. Taroko trying to make a little bit of a comeback here.
Oh yeah, I think we're going to see Taroko slow down his play somewhat, just to make sure that he plays a more control-focused game instead of going for the blitz plays. And there it happens again. Slow play, gets it off of the backboard. Dapper jumps for it, and Taroko takes the open space and scores.
And we really haven't seen this all game, is that Taroko kind of controlling his offensive zone and putting Dapper onto the back foot. You see it here, and the last 2 goals have really been just that. Taroko with possession, with control of the game, and Dapper has had a tough time dealing with it.
Oh, kickoff goal not capitalized on by Dapper, though. A little tough on that angle. Places it into the corner, and Taroko, staying patient yet again, gets his hands on the ball. Takes the boost away from Dapper, and that leaves him completely empty. But Dapper somehow manages to scoot underneath Taroko, pick up the boost, and that's all he needs to quickly turn this play around, just at the bat of an eyelash.
Dapper so slippery there on the sideline, and then he just receives it downfield. Fantastic from Dapper, keeping Taroko at bay. You thought maybe Taroko was going to start and make a comeback, but Dapper so good to keeping possession and pushing that ball down the field in counterattacking when Taroko least expects it, and really when we least expect it as well.
Absolutely, it's a 4-goal lead. Fantastic flick, going to come off the backboard, but Dapper is ready to tap that one in, and we are back to a 5-goal lead. All the work that Taroko did completely wiped off the board.
It's really a couple great plays there from Dapper. That was a high flick from him. He knew that he couldn't initially beat Taroko with just a normal flick towards the net, so he kind of pops it up a little bit higher just so he gets enough over the defender there of Taroko, and it pays off perfectly, able to put that one away. Now 8-3, Dapper in the lead.
And just over 1 minute left to play. This is going to be a heck of a comeback from Taroko. He will get one in, and fantastic play. Just driving circles around Dapper there with the bounce off the corner.
Yeah, and Dapper had just missed that one. You know, when you start driving backwards, you might be in a little bit of trouble there, and that's what Dapper did. And Taroko just slips it by him, cuts around and puts it away. He's got 59 seconds, Taroko. He can make 4 goals happen, but he's got to get a couple kickoff goals.
Yep, certainly will. This is not going to be one of them, but Dapper just completely flying past that ball, leaving his net completely open in what basically turns into a kickoff goal.
Yeah, 9 seconds after the kickoff, and Dapper just dives in there. Taroko doesn't really do much with the ball, and Dapper goes flying past the play. Took 9 seconds for Taroko to get that next goal, only down by 3 now. What can he do?
Well, it was down by 5 only, what, 10 seconds ago? And now Taroko making his way back, but Taroko can't get his hands on that. Dapper with another fast shot, about to break double digits here in Game 3.
Yeah, great placement there from Dapper. If he had put that near post, Taroko could have absolutely made the save, and I really honestly think that Taroko probably could have even made that save if he was a little bit more perfect with it. But Dapper, the placement made that one tough, and Taroko couldn't come through.
This might turn to a kickoff goal for Taroko. Great flick, but even better save from Dapper. 36 on the clock, and the ball is on its way out of the blue half. Picked up by Taroko, going to try to wrap around it. Dapper went for boost, and that will be his undoing as Taroko has an open angle to score.
Greedy play there from Dapper. He had 0. He went for the canister, and Taroko says, thank you very much. I'm just going to put this one to the back of your net. You went for boost and not the ball, and Taroko makes him pay.
Well, it's a stable 3-goal lead for now, but it's only 28 seconds left on the clock, and Taroko, if he wants to make this sweep perfect, then he is going to have to score another one, but instead, Dapper, oh, the save from Taroko actually does get it off of the post, but that cost him so much time. There's still a 3-goal deficit, and Dapper is yet again on his attack, fakes it, makes Taroko jump into thin air, and there's the double digits from Dapper.
10 goals for Dapper, and it's a beautiful flake as he just lets that one drop down again. Picking and choosing the right time to let that ball drop is so crucial in 1v1s. Dapper showing exactly how to do it, not only on that shot, but a couple shots ago. 17 shots total for Dapper. He's got quite a bit in this game, and it pays off with 10 goals.
Certainly does. Might make it 11 here, and he does. Oh, the ball control from Dapper. So well played.
Great play here from Dapper, and you can kind of feel that this one is over here for Taroko with 6 seconds left. Obviously, you're not going to score the 5 goals needed to at least tie here. And Dapper going to be staying alive here in this series.
Yep, he found a way to get past Taroko. Both games have ended on relatively slim margins. Game number 1 with just 1 goal, and game 2 with 2 in favor of Taroko. But here comes Dapper, wins it 6-11, a 5-goal lead to close out game number 3, and he is going to be feeling good about that.
Yeah, and I think that Dapper took advantage of a lot more of the chances that he had. He was able to put them away. We didn't really see the perfect defense coming out from Taroko that we saw in the previous game, in game number 2. So for Dapper, this is great to take advantage of a Taroko that maybe isn't having the best defensive game. Obviously, giving up 18 shots, really more so 11 goals, is never good if you're anyone, especially for Taroko, especially with the defensive prowess that we saw in game number 2. But for Dapper, the counterattacks came through. I think that he played a lot more quickly. He was able to control Taroko a lot more, and he took advantage of Taroko. The mistakes coming out, there was a few in that game that was uncharacteristic of Taroko, and Dapper able to absolutely make him pay. And 11 goals, it says something about the way Dapper played.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was mentioning it earlier in the game, around midway through, that Taroko was switching up his play a little bit to not be quite as aggressive anymore, go from a fast-paced, blitz-focused game to a more controlled offense, and that worked out for him. But he kind of fell back into his old ways as the game closed out, and Dapper just made perfect use of that, going for the counters, making sure that he gets the ball when Taroko cannot possibly beat it to the goal. And we saw a lot of cross-field goals from Dapper as well. So it remains to be seen whether... Dapper has just made an adjustment. Now it remains to be seen whether Taroko can, of his own, adjust right back.
Here it comes,
beat Dapper at his own game, but it happens yet again. Taroko biting off way more than he could chew, finds himself deep inside the blue half with the ball in his own net.
And to be fair to Taroko, that's a tough one, because usually challenges, they kind of pinch either to the side walls, or when they go up, they come straight back down. That one pinches straight into the back wall and sets up Dapper perfectly for a counterattack, as both those players had clashed in front of the blue side goal. So for Taroko, he put a lot on the line there for that shot, but it was kind of unlucky for that one to go back towards his net.
Oh, trying to beat Dapper at his own game here, but just inches shy of making the counter perfect. Bounces off of the goalpost, gives Dapper another opportunity to take control here. Tries to go for the far post, but Taroko has that one covered at a breakneck pace as both players are darting back and forth on the field. There's the demolition onto Dapper, and that will allow Taroko to quickly tie things up.
Yeah, great demo here from Taroko, just comes through, reads the jump from Dapper as well as he comes off the wall, lets the ball roll in front of the net and puts it away. It's a great play from Taroko, using all that speed to not only get to the ball, but also get to Dapper and open up the net, able to put that one away and tie it up in the first minute.
Good kickoff for Taroko. Will he be able to capitalize? Dapper gets to the ball first and bounces off the sidewall. Does pick up the boost canister and is past Dapper. Goes for the bounce on the backboard, but Dapper has got it covered. Beats him to the ball mid-air, but has a tough angle on the net. Lets Dapper make another touch. Dapper scooping that one off of the corner, but Taroko's waiting for it in the midfield. Perfect return on that clear, straight into the net. Well played by Taroko.
Absolutely. This is just a great touch here from Taroko. Dapper, kind of a light touch out towards the middle of the field, and for Taroko, able to get in front of that one and just put it away. A great volley back to the net there and gain the lead here over Dapper.
Making sure that he takes initiative early on, doesn't even let Dapper build up a potentially insurmountable lead. That's just what happened in Game 3, but he does get the cut, he does get the bump, and he does get the goal. We are right back to even.
And he just rips Taroko's axles out here with this cut. My goodness, Dapper. Beautifully done as he gets in front of it, kind of slows down just to pop it by Taroko. Dapper, that's one way to tie it back up.
Yep. That's a way indeed. Kickoff not really going either player's way. Dapper looking to convert, but Taroko gets back in time. Good backflip from Dapper into the ball, but Taroko kind of bumping him out of the way. Very good touch from Taroko, but Dapper just blows him up, makes sure he can't drive that goal home. The score remains at deuces wild. Dapper going for the dribble, just waiting for the opportunity to cut. Gets it off of the goalpost, but luckily straight back into his hands. 1 goal lead for Dapper.
I love the creativity from Dapper. Again, you see, he drops the ball down from the top of his car, and that's when you know he's going to go. He's going to make his decision. But even if you know that, because Taroko knows that move, once that ball comes down to the ground, he knows something's happened, but he still doesn't know what side Dapper's going to go to. Such a quick cut. It's such a great move, and Dapper has done it over and over to Taroko. It's so special.
Looking for a quick revenge, but Dapper will get the save here. Ball is on the side wall, and Taroko playing it slowly, transitioning into a dribble, making Dapper wait for it, punches him into the net, and the ball will quickly follow. 3 goals apiece. We have a game on our hands.
Taroko's been hitting the gym here as he just muscles Dapper into his own net, and you can see Dapper had quite a bit of boost. He had about 50 for that play, and when he got knocked into his net, he still had 40. He tried to boost back to the ball, but Taroko had thrown him and the ball so far into his own net, he couldn't get back in time. Great play, great challenge from Taroko there.
Yeah, unstoppable force hits very movable object in that case. As we hit halftime, 3 goals apiece. Dapper looking for the fake there, but Taroko a little too smart to fall for that one. At least this time around. And a cross-field dribble, cut to the left, demolition. And the play quickly ends, but Dapper will not have enough time to actually convert on that one. He's going to try regardless. Quick shot, Taroko coming out a little bit too far for that one. A little too eager to get back to that ball.
And Taroko, I think he thought that Dapper might have hit that one too far ahead and that he couldn't pull off a shot like that. But Taroko didn't even make a jump at that play. He just saw that one fly over his head, absolutely caught off guard there from Dapper. And a great play from him and catches Taroko out.
And that's another lead for Dapper, but it's only a 1-goal lead in what has been, well, along with game number 1, the closest of the series so far. Cheeky little bump from Dapper onto Taroko, quickly recovers, wraps around the ball, finds the open angle, and scores for the equalizer, 4-4. Taroko really wants to keep it even.
And this one's all about timing and positioning. He puts himself on the right side of the ball, and he pushes it to the left and just waits just enough to bait Dapper in to think that he could get to that challenge. Taroko puts it past him and ties up the game.
And this has just been really the story of the game. One player scores and the other ties it right back up. This might be Taroko's opportunity to break the pattern. Dapper pushes it right back outfield. Is in control now on the side field. Good touch from Taroko. Might actually be on target. Is actually on target. He does take the lead.
And what a play here from Taroko, because Dapper just gives up the ball, and Taroko actually gets up and puts it on target so quickly, so cleanly. And for Dapper, again, you just cannot give up the ball like that. Hit it straight to Taroko. He just picked up boost. He was ready to go. And the poise from Taroko to actually put that one on target is fantastic.
Well done indeed. Might make it 2 here as he does get a fast flick to the far post. This is the Taroko that we're used to seeing.
Again, we've seen this a couple times, just those quick flicks. This one, not so much being on top of his car, and turning around with the backflip, but more so just kind of flipping into it on the jump And again, Dapper just not able to read that one. Didn't really read the play very well. Wasn't positioned to make the save. Taroko now trying to take this series here in 4, up by 2 now with 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
On the offense, too. Oh, and a big miss from Dapper, and Taroko will not let this opportunity slip by. It's a 3-goal lead now.
And he just barely misses that one as it came off the crossbar right as Dapper thought that he was going to be able to flip that one out. Taroko's going to just tap that one in, of course, but for Dapper, he didn't have to do that, you know, and it's a little bit dangerous to do, and that time definitely paid the price for going for a little fancy save there.
Good flick by Dapper, intercepted by Taroko, cuts off the angle and gets himself the save. Dapper looking to stay in ball control, driving a wide arc around the final third, around the orange box. Keeps the ball in front of Taroko at all times, bumps him into the net, but the ball is already in the corner, away from goal-scoring opportunity. 47 seconds is all that's left for Dapper. There's the demolition, and he's going to score 2 goals still to catch up in order to stay alive, at least for the time being.
Yeah, we kind of say this for all these games here in this series is, one of these two guys are down by 2 goals with less than a minute. It's absolutely possible to make the comeback here, but it's Dapper's turn, and this is his tournament life on the line.
Certainly is. 2 goals still to score. Just as I said, this is a good opportunity. Taroko flipping past the ball. Dapper playing it very patiently. A little too far, pops it up into the air, but Taroko will be able to pick this up handily. And all Taroko really needs to do now is play for time. 30 seconds remaining. This is a disaster indeed. He pops it up into the air. Dapper trying at his mightiest to get a touch on this ball, but even with all his attempts, can't manage it.
And Taroko could have actually shot that shot earlier, but he decided not to, just to waste, I guess, a little bit more time. I don't know, throwing a fake. A little salt into the wound there, I guess, on Dapper, because he had an open net. Decided to throw in the fake, and it still pays off for him now. 3-goal lead, 20 seconds left. He's going to run this one up the wall. Probably go for some sort of ceiling shot or something, but just going to run out the time here.
Yeah.
And win this series.
Well, that is going to be it. I don't think there's going to be 3 goals in 5 seconds, so Taroko will take the series in 4, just as you have said. Proves us both wrong. We both thought it would go to 5 games. But we did both think that he was going to win it, and so he does. Dapper is defeated, and Taroko makes his way to the grand final. What a great turnaround after a Game 3 that looked really shaky from him, or rather, just all the better from Dapper. But ultimately, he does march on through to the money round.
Absolutely, and for Dapper, we've seen him quite a bit here in these 1v1s, and every single time we've seen him, his games are just so close here, falling again here to Taroko, and I gotta hand it to Taroko. He looked good throughout this series. Like you said, a little shaky there as he did drop game number 3, but I think that for him, it was kind of an off game. We talked about his defense all series long, and game 3 came around, and it wasn't as good. But here he picked it back up in game number 4, able to close out the series, and I have to say for Taroko, he's looking good as he has to face First Killer in the grand finals.
Yep, certainly will. They have faced before, and Taroko has 1 win to his name. But that was in the past. This is the present. It's going to be $500 for whoever wins this upcoming next match. It's going to be best of 7 in the grand final. The loser leaves with nothing. If you've been enjoying this broadcast, you will be happy to know that this is not all we have, though. This is the 1v1, but we have another 1v1 coming on January 23rd. It's going to be Wednesday, another $500 winner takes all. And then next week on Monday, January 14th, it's going to be our $500 2v2 tournament. And then to close the month off on January 28th, just before February, it is our grand $2,000 3v3 Rocket League tournament. All of these tournaments are free to sign up for. Do click the button below the stream that says tournaments on it to find more information. You can win some money, but there are some tough opponents to beat if you want to get there. But if you are looking to engage competitively in Rocket League, then there is little that you can do to get any better practice than against some of the top players in North America. So, First Killer versus Taroko in the grand final. It's going to be up next. We'll be right back. As we draw close to the conclusion of the very first Astronauts Rocket League 1v1 tournament of 2019, only one question remains in our minds. Will First Killer start the year off just the way he finished the last one, with a victory? Or will Taroko get his second overall victory in 1v1 tournaments on Astronauts, and also take the crown to kick the year off proper? My name's The Patch. Joining me is Corelli. We have a grand final on our hands. Taroko versus First Killer, and I could not be more excited for this one.
Yeah, this is definitely, I think, a lot of people watching, they wanted this final. And I think that this is going to be a highly competitive one. I could see this one going 6 or 7 games for sure. Of course, this is going to be a best of 7. So, you know, I have to say, I know you're going to ask me who I think is going to win. I'm abstaining from that question. I have no idea, to be honest. I feel actually really good about Taroko right now, only because he's coming off of some games with Dapper. And I think that might benefit him early. But First Killer, you know, he's known to be quick to the ball. Some may call him a ball chaser. I call him an artist, as he is so quick and so tough to beat. Both of these guys are going to put on a show for us for sure.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. And First Killer didn't really show any kinds of weakness against the car earlier. Made a 3-0 sweep. It was rather close in the end, but the car didn't pull through on opportunities that he should have absolutely scored. Overall, though, I thought First Killer played a very clean, a very controlled, and a very, well, mostly mistake-free game. And on the other side, we saw Taroko struggle a little bit against Dapper, biting off more than he could chew, pushing a little bit too far forward at certain times, allowing Dapper to just score a cross-field goal after cross-field goal. Saw a lot of long-range goals go into Taroko's box. But ultimately, Taroko is no slouch. First Killer isn't either. This is going to be tough to call. I think First Killer will have the edge. But it all comes down to how Taroko will choose to play this series, how he will adapt his playstyle. He's seen that there are a couple of weaknesses if he insists on his fast-paced, breakneck playstyle, but he has also seen that it can absolutely work if you manage to keep yourself in control of the ball at all times.
Yeah, I think kind of hit the nail on the head there with Taroko is that if he comes in this game with the defense that we saw against Dapper, especially early on in the series that we just saw, I think that's going to be really tough for a quick player like First Killer who is going to be all over the ball, who's going to be constantly in possession. I think it kind of frustrates the player like him a little bit to be denied every single time that he has an opportunity, to be shut down when he's on offense, and to really, quite frankly, maybe even give up some counterattacking goals to Taroko. You know, we talked about it with Dapper in the last series, but Taroko had his fair share as well. And letting a player like Dapper, who likes to control the game, come to him and then immediately bite back and throw the ball down the field, I think that Taroko might have a bit of a repeat performance like he did against Dapper with First Killer.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So you said you're going to abstain from answering the question, so I'm just going to abstain from asking it. Let's just let this game happen and bask in its competitive glory. Players are about ready to get on the pitch. It's the best of 7. It is for all of the money. Winner takes all and loser leaves empty-handed. $500 dues are on the line here for whomever wins 4 games first. And we're going to start this off, as always, with game number 1. First Killer on blue, Taroko on orange. Let's get the games started.
I have to say already, First Killer flubbed the kickoff goal. He actually won the kickoff, had an opportunity to pick up the ball and put it on target and score, and he didn't actually hit it properly, and obviously didn't score. So for Taroko, counting his blessings early on in the first 30 seconds.
Well, First Killer, he has the ball taken away from him by Taroko as well.
Goodness.
So well played, but he cannot divert the ball in time. Managed to actually snatch it off of Taroko, but it was too late.
And First Killer thought he might get a demo, but he actually kind of whips Taroko into the ball. And Taroko's going to get the goal because of it. If that didn't happen, I believe First Killer could have made it back and saved it. But a little lucky there for Taroko to actually just be pushed into it by First Killer. First Killer obviously trying to go for a bump or demo there. Does not work out.
Well, Taroko does take first blood in the first game. And it has been relatively low scoring when we compare it to the other games and series that we've watched tonight. At this point, after 1 minute played, we usually at least saw 3 or 4 goals on the board. Right now, Taroko is the only one who has scored, and was with a little bit of help from First Killer. Good cut, but unfortunately a little too fast. Cannot drive it home.
Wow.
Gets the dunk past Taroko and ties the game up, though.
And this is kind of a risky play by First Killer, but this is what he does, because if he loses this challenge, he's done for, but he reads it perfectly and dunks it past Taroko. It's so risky to do that in 1v1, but it's First Killer, man. He makes it happen.
Certainly does. He is confident enough to make it happen. And now he is on the ball after the kickoff. Drives it around, stops it in front of the net, tries to go for the backwards flick. Can't quite make it happen, though. Taroko gets the save, takes control of the ball, completely out of boost, though. Not sure if First Killer has realized this yet. He does keep the ball out of his reach as Taroko makes inch by inch towards the boost, but just as First Killer realizes, oh, he's going to go for boost, immediately wraps around the ball and drives it home.
And this one's on Taroko. One too many fake attempts at the ball, fake challenges, and then he goes for the midfield canister there, and that's when he really pays the piper as First Killer comes through and just pulls it around and puts it on target. Taroko kind of got caught there in the midfield, and First Killer, that ball control, really showing it off.
Certainly is. Taroko looking to show off of his own. Can't quite make it happen. Gets blown up by First Killer for his troubles, but First Killer not quite enough time to drive it home completely uncontested. He will just flick it up into the air, make Taroko jump into thin air, and put it away regardless.
And this is actually a really great play by First Killer because not only does he pop it past Taroko, but he doesn't pop it past the net. And that's really key there because he could have beaten Taroko many different ways there, but it was going to be tough to set up the shot. And that's exactly what First Killer did. He gets both of it, and he opens up a 2-goal lead.
Great control, knowing exactly how much room he had. 2-goal lead for him now, looking to make it a 3. Taroko gets the save for the time being. Transitions into a dribble, drives it all the way downfield. Early flick from the midfield. First Killer saves that off into the corner, and Taroko looking to shadow the ball here. First Killer does have control of it, hits the crossbar, doesn't get the second touch. Will Taroko be able to recover? Yes, he will. Drives up the ramp, quickly turns it around into a counter. So well played. Punishes First Killer for not taking the opportunity when he had it.
And you can see that save coming off the back wall there of his net sets him up for success there. Not only gets the clear, but he's able to follow it up as well. The counterattack comes through from Taroko. We talked about in the pregame. That's what he's going to need to do against First Killer. When First Killer doesn't succeed on one of these risky challenges, you've got to counter, but a kickoff goal right back the other direction, and First Killer erases any wrongdoing.
Yeah, there was no chance for Taroko on this one. This one was completely won as soon as both of them touched the ball. All that First Killer really needed to do was some basic placement stuff that you learn within your first couple of 100 hours of Rocket League. And in the ball goes. 2-goal lead now at halftime. Nothing we haven't seen Taroko come back from. But against First Killer, that's an entirely different story. Question is, will First Killer allow him to do that? Or will he build up his lead even further? Good flick. Taroko pops that one up, is inside the goal now. First Killer wrap around, threats the needle, but slightly off target. Fakes Taroko, but ultimately doesn't actually turn around fast enough. He gets it off with a crossbar, bumps it down, gets the second touch, and in it goes. First Killer just playing with his prey.
It's just so much pressure from First Killer, and, you know, really he should have scored the first few shots there, but Taroko just trying to stay alive, stay afloat with all the shots coming up and over his head and off his crossbar, off his back wall, and First Killer, that pressure is exactly the way he wants to play throughout this entire game, and again, he just catches out Taroko with the shot there. He goes for boost, makes him pay for it, and First Killer looking dominant here in game number 1.
Certainly does. Taroko, well, you said it. Going for boost is what was his undoing in that situation. And then again, could have tried to run on pads, but First Killer, he had everything that he needed. And that was tough to defend either way. It was just a lost kickoff, basically, for Taroko. And that's, I think, the third one in this game. Second or third one. So he's going to have to watch out for that. Air dribble from the midfield. First Killer reads that one like an open book. And immediately turns around into the counter.
Oh,
stops the ball. Beautiful.
Oh, he did it!
The barrel roll. He puts it away. What a goal from First Killer.
I thought he had messed up, and he did a little bit here as it goes too far, but he gets the second touch over Taroko. It's beautiful from First Killer, and a little bit of spice to throw into game number 1.
That was crazy stuff, but it's stuff that we see from First Killer every now and then. He just pulls out crazy maneuvers with his car and makes it look so easy, as if it was what he was intending from the very get-go. And he might as well have. Missed wall clear from Taroko. First Killer not on the first touch, but he gets the second. He'll put that one away. It's a 6-goal lead. First Killer looking unbeatable.
And that's just a bad miss there from Taroko. Really nothing else to it. You've got to read the back wall clears there. Obviously doesn't get it. A little bit frustrating there, but I think for Taroko, down by 6 goals, an 8-2 scoreline, kind of thinking about maybe the next match here as First Killer is really starting to pop off.
Oof. Save coming out from Taroko. Not going to be another kickoff goal. We already have 9 saves on Taroko's name, and still 8 goals have crossed, 8 balls have crossed that goal line on the orange half of the field, and First Killer effortlessly wraps around the ball, drives it in, 9-2. First Killer just one short of double digits.
And Pash, really the main thing here in this game, the big takeaway for Taroko is just the pressure that First Killer is putting on. It's constant ball control from him, and it's tough saves that first killer is forcing from Taroko, and Taroko isn't always up to the task. Maybe not by his choice. He doesn't have boost, or maybe just already made a save and was out of position for the next one. So for Taroko, it's about taking advantage of the space that first killer does give you, and when you have a chance to make it to touch the ball out of your end, you're able to do so on the first try.
Well played by first killer, just a few inches shy of picking up that boost. Does manage to defend against the attack from Taroko. Just shadowing the ball now, running on pads, making sure to plot his course to maximize the amount of juice he gets from them. Taroko off of the ceiling, not really sure what he does with his second flip there. Ultimately, hands the ball over to first killer, and with 10 seconds on the clock, first killer does break double digits. It's a 10-2 game.
Yeah, and like I said there for Taroko, I think he's starting to think about, he definitely is starting to think about game number 2 here, down by 8 goals, a 10-2 scoreline, 10 seconds left. Taroko really can't do anything at this point. And like I said earlier, it's really just that pressure, giving the ball up too many times to first killer where he's able to take advantage.
Yep. That's really the gist of it. Will we see a redemption goal? Yes, we will. Taroko does get one past, and it's a beautiful little flick.
Yeah, it's kind of a classic 1v1 goal here, is just driving at your opponent and then flicking it up over him near the box. It works still to this day, and Taroko shows us there, but too little too late as a second left. The kickoff just a formality now.
Yeah, certainly is. This one is going to first killer, game number 1 in absolutely dominating fashion. And you've mentioned it mid-game. The pressure, the aggression, the iron grip that first killer had over that game from the starting whistle. 16 shots to 7, 9 saves forced out of Taroko, and yet there are 10 goals on the board. This just has been carnage.
So I think for the intermission here between game 1 and game 2, as we hop right back into it, for Taroko, I think it's okay. Take a deep breath. It's just one game. Remember, this is a best of 7. This is a very long series here for a 1v1. And Taroko, it's just one game. First killer, he can run up the score and score 50 goals. It doesn't matter. Game number 2 starts at 0-0.
Yep, certainly does. Don't let yourself get bogged down by has-beens. Focus on the present. Let the past be the past. Oh, beautiful cut from first killer, though, to start the game off with first blood.
And this one's tough for Taroko. He whips around, and first killer immediately cuts it away from him as he dribbles it straight at his opponent. It's a beautiful play from him. And again, that ball control, that pressure from first killer, as soon as he's going to get it, it's going straight at your net. Can you deal with it?
And first killer looking really comfortable right now. Knows exactly what he wants to do with the ball. Pulls it off every single time. I haven't seen him make a single mistake just yet. And this is just a tough game for Taroko at the time being. He does manage to get the ball into the corner, does seemingly manage to get on onto the backboard, but first killer drives it back down, and he's right back on the counterattack. Knocks Taroko out of the way, and there is the goal. Can you get any better than this? First killer, just sublime ball control.
And he's boost starved too. He has 0 boost doing all this. Just gets a little bump on Taroko and then backflips it into the net. First killer doing a great job with low boost there. As you saw, Taroko actually took up all the boost back to the corner there. So there was nothing for first killer to take, yet still able to put it to the back of the net.
And if you're Taroko, this is
not my...
Oh, he does get the save. Fantastic ceiling shot from first killer. And this is exactly what Taroko was looking for here, right then and right here. Does finally get on the board. Beautiful counterplay.
Well, you got to compliment first killer for going for the ceiling shot there, only up by 2 goals. And it was a great ceiling shot, but a fantastic save by Taroko, and then able to turn it into a counterattack is exactly what you want to do when first killer goes for those risky plays, because let's face it, going for a ceiling shot like that is absolutely risky. Taroko doing a great job of making him pay.
Let's see if he has caught some fire. If you're Taroko, going down early by 2 is going to look tough, especially after game number 1, but here he goes, as you said, punishing first killer for his risky plays and getting almost another one past. First killer will get the fake in front of the net, though, and extend his lead back to 2.
Yeah, I really like this one from First Killer. Just kind of sitting behind the ball because he thought, okay, if Taroko does get the touch, I'm there to block it. If he doesn't get the block, then I can use my flip into the ball and able to put that one away. And that little slight delay is enough time for First Killer to make that decision, and he does so with that flip. Able to put it away now. A 2-goal lead, might be a 3-goal lead as he just keeps faking out Taroko in a panic on his goal line. A 3-goal lead now for First Killer.
Yeah, and Taroko actually flipping into the ball there and starting to tumble. Ends up on his roof. Couldn't find his bearings. First Killer gets the ball past him. Seems that every step that Taroko makes forward, First Killer just pushes him back by 2. And there's a 3-goal lead right now. First Killer comfortably back in ball control. Good save from Taroko. Gets that off of the backboard. Gets caught up in his own net, though. Manages to beat First Killer to that ball. But ultimately, a little reserved about actually pushing forward. Retreats back home to pick up on boost. And First Killer will just keep the ball there. Wait for Taroko to come at it. And then flick it straight out towards target. This time around, waited a little too long for that. And Taroko had enough time to rotate back. But ultimately, Taroko is just having a tough time at even getting the ball into the blue half right now. And First Killer playing an iron defense at the midfield.
See, First Killer, he's kind of... Well, now he gets demo, but he was kind of going back and forth, kind of playing a little bit slower coming out of his corner. I don't know if he's just trying to run out the clock here and speed this up, but that's a great shot from Taroko. The speed, and First Killer kind of left that side of the net just a little bit open. Taroko takes advantage. What a shot from him.
Yep, First Killer only just arriving in net after getting demolished, and that's what Taroko was waiting for a while. Just a little bit of room, just a little bit of a space to move in. That demolition gave him exactly that. He took his time, he lined up his shot, it was beautiful. And it did get him back a 2-goal deficit, but First Killer makes it, turns it right back to 3. Beautiful patience in that midfield.
It's patience and it's precision as he puts it off the crossbar there and down. That's a tough one to save if you're Taroko. And for Taroko, I'm seeing a lot of him retreating to his goal line and then leaving all of this space for First Killer. But really, the reason that's happening is because Taroko doesn't have a lot of boost. He's being boost starved quite a bit, and First Killer, a lot of freedom to do what he wants.
Trying to bait Taroko out of his net here just by kind of playing the ball right across the goal line. There's the demolition from Taroko.
No.
Pops the ball up, but way too far. Won't be able to actually close the angle on that. That was an opportunity, but it was wasted. Good touch. Gets it past First Killer. What can he do? Plays it off of the wall, but First Killer wraps around a beautiful bump just to make sure that First Killer won't turn this into a straight counter. Both players now on 0 boost. Taroko comes out as the victor. Can't quite put the angle on net, but at least he gets it away from his own half. At least he pushes forward. At least he gains some space. Good balance off of the goalpost. That is about as tight as an angle can get.
That's a great shot from Taroko. Takes the first touch, excuse me, and then flips into it off the wall, and it bounces in, or excuse me, off the inside of the post, and it bounces in for him. Now Taroko, a minute and a half left in this game, down by 2.
Next to be seen whether Taroko can pick up on a second wind here. He has started to break out of his own half. The deficit not nearly as big as it was in game number 1. He's been able to keep it within 3, within 2, and he gets another one. Goalpost, the other one gets the final little shove, and in it goes. That would have been a heartbreaker if that had somehow managed to find its way out.
Another one goes off the post for Taroko, but this time it bounces out and not in. He's got to follow it up, and he does. First Killer nowhere to be found. Taroko making a late game comeback.
And that's what he loves to do. Well, not loves to do, but that's what he certainly can do. Come back from deficits. Game 1 perhaps a little too high, but game 2 he is back to just within 1 of First Killer. And he's still got a minute and 5 seconds to do it. Good save. Plays that outwards, very centrally. First Killer immediately launching yet another shot. That one gets saved as well. First Killer picks up on it, drives it back home. Looking to wrap around. He has a full tank of boost. Looking for the dribble. Pops it up. Taroko waiting until the very last moment to defend it, and that was just the right choice to make. Another touch from First Killer. Taroko reversing into it, able to turn around and wrestle control of the ball back. Tries to go for the flick. Looking for the counter. Looking to sneak one past, but First Killer a little too fast on the buzzer. Very good defense from Taroko, and this is the kind of stuff that we've seen from him in the previous series, the defensive powerhouse that's finally starting to show again.
Well, you need good defense, but for Taroko right now, he needs a goal. He's got 20 seconds left here in game number 2. You don't want to go down by 2 games in this series, and First Killer has looked so good throughout. Taroko, this could be, if he gains control back in his own end here, could be the last time he could go down the field and make a difference.
Well, First Killer is going to look for the demolition, and he obviously gets it. And that is going to be it. He's just going to drive the ball home with no Taroko on the field to even contest it. First Killer does get away with another win. This time around, the goal deficit went from 6 to just 1.
Yeah, definitely a much closer game here for Taroko, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. You still drop another game in this series, and First Killer undefeated so far in 2019, at least that we've seen on stream, as he had a 3-0 sweep earlier, now up 2-0 in this series. And for Taroko, can he take down First Killer? Can he win it all here in this series?
Well, he's got 2 more games to win, but Taroko, he is clawing his way into the series. It's been tough for him. No way around that. But he did manage to play a very close game number 2. Started off similarly to game 1, but he found his bearings, he found his confidence most importantly, and he managed to give First Killer a run for his money. Now we're in game 3. There is still 1 game of safety net below Taroko, but after that the air is getting thin. And a reverse sweep in a best of 7, that's an entirely different beast. Then when it comes to best of 5s, it's a game of attrition, and you're going to have a lot of it if you want to win 4 in a row. Against a powerhouse like First Killer. Speaking of powerhouse, he does make his opponent go up in flames. Gets the first blood 21 seconds in.
And we've complimented Taroko's defense time and time again, but can't play defense when you're respawning, and First Killer does that there against Taroko. Great demolition. He's been doing it all night, really, in the first 2 games, especially against Taroko. It's just getting those demolitions, and easy for him to get control of the ball and put it away. Great play from First Killer.
Oh, good save from Taroko. The shot comes whizzing at the goal from the right-hand side of the field. Taroko yet again getting a touch of that just shy of the backboard, manages to thread the needle below First Killer, gets it off the side wall, looking for the counterplay. First Killer just with the tip of his wheel, managing to get a touch on that ball and deflect it off of goal trajectory. First Killer just looking for the cut here. Waits a little too long. Taroko with plenty of boost in his tank. Looking to break away here. Just looking for a gap. Dribble. When will he go for the flick? A little too late. First Killer blocks his opportunity from the get-go. And Taroko looking for solutions on offense here. So far hasn't found anything, but he's kept his net clean for the most part. And that's the most important thing at this point of the game.
Yeah, but it's been tough for him. First Killer has done such a good job of just keeping possession. You see him going around the field into his corner, into his other corner, and look, Taroko gets 1 touch, but it's straight back into First Killer's hands. He takes it back towards the boost.
Oh,
and First Killer has done a great job of keeping possession. It takes a demolition for him to give it up.
Oh, First Killer still getting the save. Ball was on its way out of the blue half when the demolition happened, so not the ideal situation for Taroko, but he has the ball in front of the net right now. Just needs to find an angle, needs to find a gap to somehow push the ball through. First Killer is far away on the orange half of the field. Taroko will try to make a dash home, but ultimately no time to do so. 2-0 is the lead for First Killer.
And it's just the speed there in front of his own net for First Killer. Taroko went up for it thinking he could possibly have a chance on target. And First Killer just simply beats Taroko to the ball, and the counterattack's on, and he's able to get control and put it away. It's that speed from First Killer. You talk about it every time this guy plays. You're seeing it there, just being faster to the ball and pushing it down the field.
Oh, that's a great flick. We'll have to go for a second attempt here. Taroko just, oh, I thought he might have had that. Ultimately, ball still crosses the line, and it's a 3-goal lead.
And for Taroko, he's doing a lot, or he's trying to do a lot with a little. They're sitting on his goal line again, trying to block that flick from First Killer. And once you miss the initial one, it's really hard to recover. You see Taroko tried to there. First Killer, again, does a great job of collecting and putting it away.
So 3 goals in the lead for First Killer. Good save from Taroko, but You've mentioned it, the possession game from First Killer is just nigh unbeatable right now. And again, he was up 7 shots on Taroko. That is a fantastic bump, but First Killer just recovers and pushes the ball back to the right-hand corner. Another demolition from Taroko just to buy himself some space, and these are usually the situations where he was able to score from, and it happens yet again. As soon as Taroko finds a hold, he is usually able to make use of it.
And there's a great touch here from Taroko. First, he takes it to the left. You know, obviously, the flick's going to come to the right. But what he does is he delays his flick just enough to throw out the defensive First Killer. Able to put that one away. And that's a great play from Taroko. Finally, it took over half a game for Taroko to get on the board, but he's finally here. And he finds himself in the hole by 2 now.
And when you're Taroko, you have to remember that you've done this before. Oh, I thought First Killer might have actually gotten that, but beautiful play from Taroko. Catches the save, wraps around the ball, puts in a second touch.
Yeah, you know, I have to say, though, the initial flick from Taroko was not very good, but the save from First Killer might have been worse, as he sets up Taroko right in front of the net to put it away. And First Killer just, you know, as fast as he is, not able to recover.
Oh, boy. Kickoff goal for First Killer.
It is a kickoff goal here, and I think that Taroko, if he had just approached this a little bit more to the right, could have saved that one, as I don't think it was going to actually go in initially. But it was a little bit too sharp, and it went just enough into his own net there. But I believe that one was savable from Taroko. Just, that's a tough one as you're racing back.
So still a 2-goal lead, minute and 50 on the clock. It seems very doable on paper. But Taroko needs to find a way to wrestle control away from First Killer, needs to find some way to make First Killer feel at least a little uncomfortable. And the question is, can he do it? He's done it once before. Taroko was the one to break the streak when First Killer won 2 in a row. Reynolds won 2 in a row, the 5 very first Astronauts 1v1 tournaments. When players were winning it back-to-back, Taroko was the one to break the streak, and he beat First Killer to do it. But at the time being, First Killer just looks so strong.
I think something that makes First Killer very special, especially in 1v1s, and you saw it right there, was that not only does he get the clear, but he clears the ball with pace. And then on top of that, he's able to get the next touch. So not only is he just pushing it down the field away from his net and creating all that space, but he's the first guy to touch it downfield. Now, of course, Taroko was kind of committed on the play. There was no chance for him to touch that ball. But First Killer is just so good. Again, another just big booming clear that if he's not going to touch it, then it's probably going in. And that's exactly what happens here. I mean, this is from his own side, and Taroko just can do nothing about it.
Yeah. That was pretty much textbook what you've just described. He is kind enough to demonstrate to us exactly what you meant. And it puts him up by a total of 4 goals. With 53 seconds left on the clock, Taroko might be about to look down a very long barrel. Does manage to get the ball past First Killer here to get it back to a 3-goal deficit. Not a lot of time left, though.
Not a lot of time. Again, I will say it, it's absolutely possible for Taroko to make the comeback and at least tie. Wouldn't be unheard of. But the way the games that we've seen so far, we've seen 2, now almost 3, and I'd be shocked if First Killer gave up 3 goals in 40 seconds.
Yeah. I agree. It is possible, but it is unlikely against First Killer. But again, we see Taroko start the games off, or pretty much every game, apart from game 1, which was a bit of an outlier because the lead just got really insurmountable very early on. But in game 2, we kind of saw the same pattern. First Killer started the game off with absolute dominance on the field, possession, control, everything. And then Taroko, as the game draws to a close, he manages to scoop out a couple of balls. He manages to win a little bit of space, and he manages to get close to First Killer. Now he's got 11 seconds on the clock for 2 goals. I don't think it will happen. It might happen, but Taroko just needs some way to tap into whatever allows him to cut it closer towards the end of the game and do that from the get-go. make First Killer work for his goals from the very starting whistle.
I absolutely agree. First Killer taking game number 3 now. Match point. Of course, this is best of 7, first to 4, and First Killer the first to 3 right now, as Taroko does not have an answer for him. And Pash, to your point, it just seems like Taroko, definitely has it in him to beat First Killer. This isn't like
He's done it before.
Yeah, he's done it before, and he's not getting destroyed in this game. It's more so that First Killer is just more dangerous on offense, and he's quicker to the ball. But when it comes down the line, it does seem like Taroko seems to eke out a couple more goals and make the game a little bit more close. And maybe that's more so because First Killer is just trying to keep possession or just throwing it to corners, and I don't really know. But for Taroko, you got to keep the game closer for longer. It can't just be the last minute or less than a minute left and you start to make the moves.
Exactly. So now he is forced to complete the reverse sweep. A daunting task. Just by itself. Against First Killer, even more so. But he makes a good start. Gets first blood for the first time in the series.
Yep, this is a great start from Taroko. And again, catches First Killer on the overcommit. Going a little bit wide there. And Taroko able just to throw it down the field and get the goal. Great start for him.
Now he needs to keep his spirits high. He needs to ride this wave of momentum. And it's just one goal. Many people will say, well, that's not a lot of momentum, but it is the first time you score first in the series. And it's just as you start your journey on what has to be, or will have to be, a reverse sweep to take the series.
Wow.
That's not a really good follow-up, though. At least on the journey part, it is a fantastic play by First Killer.
This touch right here from First Killer is what gives him this goal. That's a tough one to make, to put it on target initially. Fantastic touch from First Killer. And again, I said it in the last game near the end, through halfway, was that I think what really makes First Killer so special is obviously the speed, but it's the speed coming out from his own end where he's able to make the ball move down the field so quickly, and he's able to keep possession, and not so much of like the other opponent doesn't have it. He's right on top of it. He's able to make this next touch into the opponent's half, and it's just so tough for anyone else to do that.
Good patient save from Taroko on the cross map air dribble from First Killer. Now driving it up front, flicks it just a little bit to the right before the ball touches down in front of First Killer and takes the lead once more.
I really like this shot here from Taroko. He uses one jump to kind of pop it up, and then as soon as it comes back down after he lands, he puts it away, and that's a great shot to kind of throw off the defender there. And Taroko, again, back in the lead now. See if he can hold it.
Well, he will have to. Dribble attempt from First Killer, and it finds absolute success as Taroko dives into a pocket of empty air.
And I think that for First Killer, there's been a lot more of this back and forth kind of slalom cuts that you see out of him. And Taroko, hasn't really seen too much of that. I want to see more creativity. First Killer has absolutely been creative throughout this series. Taroko, though, a little bit more vanilla.
Yep, that's true. Gonna take a little more than that to take down First Killer, but he is keeping it even for the time being. And this is exactly what we were talking about at the start of the game. Taroko needs to make sure that the scoreline stays this even throughout the game, so that when he, well, first of all, so that he can take the lead, and so that when he does take the lead, it might just be late enough in the game that First Killer cannot take it back in time. Ball's in the corner right now. Taroko will pick up on that. Playing it patiently, making use of the space. First Killer gives him a lot of space, but that was just an inch too much, as Taroko has more than enough space to set up for a flick to the far post.
Yeah, and for First Killer, you got to make the decision to challenge. What he was trying to do was he was hoping to make the play on the shot, but instead, Taroko took all the space he could and got too close to the net, and First Killer just couldn't respond fast enough. And great play from Taroko, realizing that First Killer was kind of leading him on, but really it was First Killer leading himself into his own demise.
Yeah, that allowed for the lead to come out from Taroko. And if you're Taroko, you want to hold on to that with your dear life. He bumps First Killer out of the way, gets his hands on the ball regardless, goes for the double tap, and there it is. And just like that, we're back to even, but Taroko is keeping it close, and that's the most important thing for him right now.
Man, something special about that recovery there from first kill. You mentioned it, he did get bumped, but he recovered straight into the ball, and it is a little bit of Taroko's own fault. He kind of just gave it away back to first killer, but I don't think he was expecting such exceptional a recovery from first killer that leads to this goal.
Halftime, and the score is even. Definitely the closest affair we've had in the series so far. And it's about high time as we are on game 4, which is match point for first killer. Speaking of first killer, Taroko jumping into nothing, recovering very well though, saving the second attempt from first killer, and the third just goes to the post. And here comes Taroko looking for the counterplay. First killer gets a touch on it and deflects that off to the corner straight away though. Taroko trying to drive that up the wall. Both players slowing it down a notch. First killer just cutting it inwards away from Taroko, just making sure that he has a long path towards the net, and it was so well played indeed.
That is so smart from first killer. You see his first flick to kind of gain possession, and then he pops up, and look how he angles the back of his car just to block the clear from Taroko. He knew the way he was going to approach it. It had to go that way from Taroko, and he just blocks every angle, and it's just too late. The block comes through, and Taroko can't get it out, and it goes to his back of his own net.
Pushing it through no matter what to take the lead. Taroko finds himself trailing by 1, but there's plenty of time on the clock. And Taroko has had much more of a presence this time around. A good cut, but first killer immediately recovers. How does he do that? Like, most of the time, I don't even notice him recovering. He gets bumped, he has his ball taken away from him. Then the camera cuts away, and the moment first killer is back on camera, he's like right back in the play. It's like he's a magician.
Well, one of the things, there really is actually a good reason why and how first killer is able to recover so quickly, because when these bumps come through, first killer gets hit into the air, which you hadn't used your flip yet. So he has a free flip that he can use whenever he wants. And he uses that flip to stay in with the play. So wherever he needs to go, he kind of flips in that direction or in the direction of his own momentum to stay with it. And that's exactly how first killer has kind of been able to keep this play. And look at this. Opts to not go from the goal, plays with his food, and then does it right in front of his face. First killer running out the clock like a pro, and in style.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Saves his own shot, makes Taroko come for it, and then goes for the kill. That is classic first killer. He is usually the player who does this. Very rarely I actually see other players run down the clock in the way that first killer does, but many people will say it's playing dirty. I say it's playing absolutely smart.
No, game management, you can absolutely do it the best in 1v1s, and when you're on their own goal line with the ball and a player stops moving or stops making attempts, you can absolutely run out the clock. And with $500 on the line, first killer needs this last game, this last 30 seconds. I don't blame him.
Yeah. 2 goals still in the deficit for Taroko. 20 seconds to do it, but first killer has his hands all over the ball and is all over the field. Here's a chance for Taroko. Is going to have to score this one and then hope for a kickoff goal. Very well played, but first killer comes and cuts off the shot, and that has got to be it. There will be no further attempt, no further opportunity from Taroko. See a double tap attempt from first killer. That won't find its mark, but ultimately it is going to end in a 4-0 clean sweep for first killer in the grand final. First killer does it again. He is our first Astronauts Rocket League 1v1 champion of 2019. Starts off the year just the way he finishes off the last one, on top.
Well, he's picking up where he left off in first killer. He dominated in 2018 again. He had 4 1v1 championships and then 2 across the 2v2 and 3v3s with a total of 6 in 2018, and he starts out 2019 with a 1v1 victory over Taroko here in a 4-0 sweep. $500 in his pocket, and he is such a special player, and he is so fun to watch. He really makes ones something fun, and he proves time and time again he is one of the better ones players that shows up for these tournaments.
Oh, yeah, certainly. He makes every tournament that he plays in a spectacle and a pleasure to watch. Well played to him, certainly. Taroko as well. Well, wasn't quite enough this time around. You know that you can beat first killer, and I am sure that he knows there's going to be more tournaments like these, and I'm sure he knows that first killer will be signing up for those as well. So I think he will get his revenge in time. But for now, First Killer is the champion supreme of 1v1. And perhaps it'll stay that way, but perhaps it will not, because in 2 weeks we have our next 1v1 tournament lined up here at Astronauts. The January schedule, Wednesday, January 23rd. Our second 1v1 tournament of the month. $500 are up for grabs yet again. Winner takes all, so you better bring your A game or you go home empty-handed. If you're more into twos action, then do tune in next week on January 14th. It's going to be $500, a shared prize pool between first and second place, free to sign up, and of course, $2,000 to close off the month. Our grand championship of 3v3 traditional Rocket League. January 28th, do sign up for that. You can find the tournament button below the stream. It is completely free to sign up and play, but as you have seen, and as you will see in the tournaments to come, there is some stiff competition to overcome if you want to get your hands on that money. But just like I said earlier, there is no better opportunity to get some serious practice in if you're looking to engage yourself competitively in this game than to spar against some of the best players that NA has to offer. And they will be taking part. We have seen star players on the astronaut circuit time and time again. We continue to see them. And tonight was just a taste of what is to follow in 2019. Any closing thoughts, Corelli?
You know, I thought maybe seeing the way 2018 went that it was going to be the year of First Killer, but I may be wrong in that it may be another year of First Killer as he starts off, of course, with the 1v1 win. So I'm excited to see how he does down the stretch. I would love to see other players come in and challenge the throne that he's sitting atop right now. But man, what a way to kick off 2019, and I cannot wait to get in to obviously more 1v1s later on in the month, and of course the 2v2 and the $2,000 3v3.
Yep, lots of Rocket League action to follow. And yeah, you mentioned it. Undefeated first tournament of the year. Way to go, First Killer. Now, that has been about it from us. I am The Pash. You can find me on Twitter at It's The Pash. Joining me has been the lovely Corelli. And where can people find you?
At Corelli TV on Twitter.
At Corelli TV on Twitter. So do go follow that. Also, follow our Twitter account at Team Beyond Net, and of course at ASTRO Gaming, our lovely sponsor. Great gear made from them, and if you want to stay on top of all the Rocket League and astronauts related news, then that is where you have to go to stay up to date. And that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. We hope to see you again next week for the 2v2, and until then, we'll see you on the pitch. Good night.